Hi guys, welcome to Live from the Roadhouse podcast, Around the Table, which is a hologram table that we're using at the moment. So, but I've got a couple of guests here for our part two of the Twin Peaks UK Fest 2018 memories. Yeah, if we can remember anything, but let's see how we do, because it was all a haze. So it's just a question of delving into the old brain again. I've got two guests with me for this one. So please, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Noah. I'm from Berlin, Germany, and this was my second year attending the UK Fest.
Great stuff.
My first time was last year.
Yeah. And my next guest, please.
Hello, my name is Jelena. I live in Sweden. It was first time for me to attend UK Fest this year too.
Well, fantastic. And see, that's what I like. That's nice. This kind of thing when this happens, because I really wanted it to be like this, where we had a balance, where we had the ones that had been to more than one and the ones that had been for the very first time, because you get all different kind of perspectives. It's quite interesting, you know. And then we kind of remember what it's like when we first went. You know, it's nice. So,
yeah.
Jelena, we'll go to you. I know I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Sorry. But my brain is a bit scorched at the moment.
You were saying my name perfectly.
Jelena. Yeah. Okay. Talk us through a little bit about your first UK Fest experience, in terms of what got you decided to come along for your first fest this year.
What made me come there was the fact that I would meet the people, the fans. I don't know anybody in my life that likes Twin Peaks the same as I do, and the idea that I would be spending time with the other fans was actually that made me go there. And it proved that I met a lot of people, and it was, it's a very good motivation.
Oh, definitely. What about you, Noah, in that same sort of line of questioning?
Yeah, it was kind of the same principle. That was last year, and last year I also attended the US Fest for the first time, and I met a lot of people there. And I'm not much of a social butterfly or anything. It's special to me when I meet people that I can have easy conversations with, that I can just hang out with and feel comfortable with. And that happened when I attended the US Fest, and then I was told that a lot of the same people that went to the US Fest would come to the UK Fest, and I was like, ooh, I want to hang out with those people again.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason for me to go there. And Christian Adley, he rented a house in London, and he invited me to stay at that house for the duration of the UK Fest. And it was him and Andreas who wrote a book about Twin Peaks, and Luke, and it was just Jeannie, and it was just the best experience. It was just so much fun hanging out with them. So yeah, that's what made me come. The people.
Yeah. That seems to be the thing, doesn't it? It's interesting that about the people that go, because backtracking slightly, you know, when I first went, I didn't know a soul, and then, you know, by the second year, I had a little pocket of friends, you know, and then the next year it went bigger, and then the next year it got bigger, you know, and it was like that, and it kept like expanding like that, mostly online, you know. Initially, until I got to meet them in person, but it just opened up loads of like online friends and stuff like that, and that was really special, you know. And each year, like you guys too, I'm sure, will or have already made new friends, as well as seeing the old faces, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, just you know, going for my second time, I was just flabbergasted by the sheer amount of people that said hello to me while I was walking through the halls. It was just, you know, that was a really, really nice feeling.
Yeah.
And also Lindsay herself, like she remembers everybody's name. She hears it once and she just remembers it, and a year later she still knows who
This
you
is
are.
amazing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Think how many hundreds of people walk through those doors. I don't know how she does that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's go for Jelena.
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 Yeah.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
Don't worry about
Take
it.
two. Right. I'll have to do a lot of editing here. Jelena. I think I got it there. Jelena, please talk us through your journey to the UK for this. When you got there, arrival, what you first did, blah, blah, blah. And, was it your first time in the UK?
No, I was in UK before.
Huh?
I decided to go to UK Fest very late. I think I booked my ticket for the fest and my lodging maybe 3-4 weeks before the fest started.
Yeah.
And because I also attended US Fest this year for the first time, I was so excited for that. And for months, I was like in some cloud of excitement. My heart was bumping, and it was not. It was a good feeling, but it was all the time with me, and it was a little bit stressing me out. So I said, this time I will not do it. And I managed to distract myself. So I went straight to the bar from the airport to the bar, straight with my suitcase because I arrived late to meet other people. And there were people, I knew that there would be people that I knew from the US Fest, but there will be people from that I didn't know. In fact, I work as administrator in between two worlds group. And some admins from that group I met in US, but some I was supposed to meet now.
Yeah.
And I was shaking, literally. But I said, go, just go. And I went straight to the bar. I found it. I walked inside, and then all the magic started. It was so nice. I was shaking most of the time in the bar. But it was really, I was happy to meet them immediately. Not everybody, but a couple of people. Then Luca and Carmine came, and it was great. It was, I think it's unique experience when you go to meet the people that you already know online and you know that you like same thing. It's unique feeling. It's very special.
Yeah, I agree. It really is, isn't it? No, it's the same thing that I hear a lot, actually. When I talk to people, that there's a certain amount of anxiety.
Yes.
Point A from where the build up to it. Like the hours or the days before it happens, and then you think, oh my God, it's a reality now almost. And then traveling from wherever you're traveling from to your lodgings, and it starts becoming a bit more real. I'm in the sort of area now, but the first moment you walk in the door and see people that you know, or people, fellow fans, and bam, that's the moment you think, wow, I feel quite at home now. So,
it is. I actually ordered the wrong drink. They told me, Cheryl told me like 3-4 times. I asked her because I couldn't remember it, and then on the end I ordered the wrong drink for her. And then I started to laugh to myself, and I was like, okay, this is really taking me.
That's just because you're overwhelmed by it all, by the experience.
Yeah, I was really overwhelmed. Yes. Yeah, but in a good way.
Oh yeah. There was nothing bad about it. It's an overwhelming experience, but it's a bloody positive one, really.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
But you, Frank, you live in London, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for you it's a little bit easier.
It was a bit, yeah. Although, when you think about it, though, going from point A to point B on the trains, because I had to go on the London Underground to get there, it probably took almost as long as your flight did from Europe. You get from where you are for what, about an hour in a plane, I guess, or something, is it? Or a bit longer than that?
Yeah, hour and 45 minutes.
You're not in the air very long. And then, of course,
we fly there.
And you've got your transport from the airport to wherever you're going. That could add another hour, I guess.
It was quite fast. I think 3.5 hours. I was really lucky with my flight. Many flights were delayed that day or cancelled. Like Noah's flight and Thor was he didn't make it. And Ryanair actually had a lot of cancellations over Europe. So I was very lucky. It was on time even.
Oh, that's
so I think 3.5, 4 hours from when leaving my home until reaching the bar. It was quite fast.
For me, it was about all round, like from A to B. Because when I got to the town, all the way up to Camden Town, I had to then walk to the lodgings and so on. So, and because I was not used to where I was going, it probably took me twice as long as it did when I was in the Irish Centre. It took me twice as long to navigate around there. But that's another story we'll get to later on if we have time. But I don't get my bearings very quick, so it takes me time. So it was probably about an hour and 45. 2 hours at a push from home to where I was staying. Once I sort of got my brain together a bit. So, yeah, I wasn't far off from your journey, really. And I'm only going into London, I'm only travelling by transport. So it can take a while, Yeah. No, you had how long was it for you?
That's a good question.
A lot longer, I think.
I almost didn't make it at all because Ryanair went on strike and my flight was cancelled last minute. At first it was, they switched me from an early flight to a late flight. Then I was almost at the airport. I get an email that the flight is cancelled, and I couldn't find a halfway decently priced flight, direct flight from Berlin to London. So what I did was, it takes me about an hour to get from my flat to the airport in Berlin. So what I did was basically leave my flat at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning to take a plane at 7-ish from the airport to Copenhagen. Stayed in Copenhagen for an hour, and then jumped on another plane that took me to Gatwick. And it took me a while from Gatwick to get into London.
It would do.
So it was a bit of a
way around, really.
experience.
But that is the only. Yeah. Is that purely down to the fact you couldn't get like a cheaper sort of deal? Would it have been a more straightforward journey if you had?
Well, I could have probably paid £800 and gotten a direct flight, but because I was so late, because it was just cancelled basically that evening. It was really hard to find another flight to get to London and not pay like £1,000, £800 for it.
It's not a lot you can do. Yeah, you're really stuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got there, man. But God, it was a bit of a trial, wasn't it, for you? God.
It was an adventure.
Was it smooth going back? Was it a lot easier going back than it was?
It was fine because they actually it was just that one day they went on strike, and it was the day everybody was trying to get to the UK Fest.
Yeah, I think I was lucky. I flew with Ryanair, and I was lucky.
Yours must have been one of the only ones that actually went on schedule.
Probably one of the last ones.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, your timing was just good, I think.
Yeah.
They wanted to get away from the cold Nordic country.
Probably.
That was the motivation.
All right, guys, talk us through like your first day, particularly. Let's go to Jelena.
I have to tell you one thing. Before I went to UK Fest, I was thinking, being in US and seeing all the locations and being with the fans, doing different things is really a special experience. And then when I was thinking about UK Fest, I was thinking, okay, it's like around 300 people locked in the room locked in the room for 2 days. And I was thinking it cannot be wrong thing, but it sounded like weird to me, so that is what was in my head before I went there. So when I arrived there, I was very happy. I found the place very quickly. I was living alone, so I arrived alone. There was Jill in the queue. She was the only one I knew. And actually Martin and Hans were there too. I met him the night before. And it was really fun. I suddenly started to talk with everybody there in the queue.
Yeah.
There was Niklas also from Sweden as well. It was really, I didn't feel anxiety at all. It was all gone. We just started to talk. We were very into when are we going to get in, what is going on. We want to go in, and it was really cool. It was everything. From that moment until the very last moment, everything was cool.
Yeah.
No anxiety anymore. It was like our world.
It was very much so. Yeah, I think at the moment that you sort of see, there's slight trepidation. Even I get it still, even though I've been like going there for a long time. I still get it. It's always it's the thing about the location change, new venue changes every couple of years or something. That seems to be the trend lately, anyway. So you get used to one place and then you have to adapt to a new one. And that's always a little bit nervous. I always feel a little nervous about that. There's that kind of feeling. But other than that, really, the moment you walk in there and suddenly you see a face. Well, usually the first face you see is Lindsay, so therefore recognisable straight away, and that breaks it down. It takes the anxiety out straight away because she's always standing there greeting people. Then you might see Rose Fawn sitting down, because she was down there as well from the Double R. So there's people I recognise straight away. That point, really, I'm pretty much all right. That's before I see people I know, like fellow fans, which happens quite quickly as well. That everyone's wandering around, and sooner or later you're going to catch up with someone. So I was all right, really, after that. I pretty much settled in pretty quick. Was that the same for you, Noah, or it was your second time?
No, because I arrived like 1:00 in the afternoon, because everybody had already started their fast by the time I got there. But and also because it was such a crazy trip to get there, I didn't have time to be anxious about I was anxious about my hotel room. I was really lucky that I had asked Mark O'Brien if he wanted to share the hotel room with me, because he had allowed me to stay at his room at the Salish this summer. And I was like, yeah, come on, guy. If you don't know where to sleep, I got an extra bed. You just bunk with me. And that was my saving grace, because he could check in on that evening when I couldn't make it to London. So I was in contact with him, and he had squared it away with the guy, with the receptionist and everything, that I would get my key card, and I just went there, and it was just like 10-15 minutes walk from the venue. So it was really good. I went there, just dumped my stuff, and went down to the venue, and I'm like, guys, I don't have one of those little wristbands because I wasn't there this morning, but I swear I'm on the list. So they let me in, the security let me in, then the woman couldn't find me on the list, and I'm like, I got it on my phone. I got a ticket. So it was just one thing after another, and I didn't have any time to be anxious about anything. And and I just started wandering about, and within like 2 seconds you bump into somebody and you get to talk, and it's like, okay, what is where did we go, what happens, where's the program, stuff like that. So before I had the time to get anxious, I was already talking to somebody.
Yeah. I really liked the venue. It was like a labyrinth a bit. It was challenging, but I loved that.
Yeah, I actually preferred last year's venue. But what I really liked was the park on the other side of the road, where they had the train car. And like Glastonbury Grove. They had the train car at the old venue as well, but the Glastonbury Grove thing was cool.
That was a nice touch, actually, having the park there, because you get a little bit of feeling of being in the woods a little bit. You sort of get a bit more of a vibe between peaks, which they couldn't have accomplished inside, at all, really. They wouldn't have had space to do those things, I don't think. No, okay, right. Let's get your guys' first day. Let's go for first day highlights first.
I watched the Twin Peaks season 3 first part on the big screen. That was definitely the highlight. I have seen first part, I think 5 or 6 times. I haven't rewatched the whole season 3 that many times, but I have seen it many times before, and still I was like hypnotized in front of the screen. It's completely new experience. For me, that was the highlight of the... Oh, and of course the people, and everything, but that is something that I will remember that day for.
What about you? No, the same sort of thing, or certain other things that sort of stood out for you that first day? I know you got there a bit late, but I mean, from what you did see.
No. You know my opinion about season 3, so it wasn't seeing season 3 on the big screen. That was a high point. But seeing people I really wanted to talk to again face to face. That was highlight. We won the trivia contest. Our team. We brought like it was like guys I'm in the Roadhouse.
Everyone does really funny names for their teams. What was your name?
Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm from the Roadhouse, and Mark has this Twin Peaks Scotia side, and we had another Scottish guy with us, Stuart, and then we had Cheryl from. We had the guy from Between Two Worlds, and we had like Laura and Cheryl from 25 Years Later. So we called ourselves Between 25 Scottish Roadhouses. To just get everybody into a combination of all of them.
Now I get that. I didn't get it when I first heard it, but now I get it. Thank you for this.
Right, you had to explain it to me at the time as well. I didn't get it either. So you won it. What did you get?
Yeah. So that was definitely a highlight as well.
Did you get prizes?
And I got
you got prizes?
Yeah, we got prizes. I got a T-shirt. Like this year's official T-shirt for the UK Fest, and it was all kinds of different stuff. We had like that fuckeray patches, and Rose just hands you like a handful of stuff and goes like, okay, divide it up between you guys.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That sounds cool, mate. So that is a good highlight. Yeah, that's a good highlight.
Yeah. But mostly you do it for the glory, of course.
Yeah. So I'm thinking now the highlight, one of the highlights. I mean, but we cannot not mention because I think it had a big impact on all of us that were there in the room. Was Christabel and Rebecca Del Rio singing?
Oh, that's right. That was the first day as well. Yeah.
Which I'd like to hear your thoughts about that, about what that was like for you and how you felt during those performances.
I missed Christabel, but I'd seen her the year before in the US. I'm not the biggest fan. I think I talked to Luca about that. I think she has a really, really good voice. She's a really, really good singer, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Right.
But Rebecca Del Rio blew me away.
Yeah,
She was
without a doubt.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Jelena? About this?
I enjoyed both performances. I have to say they are both good in their own way.
Yeah.
But Christabel was amazing, and I think that I have not listened to her records or songs. I have tried a couple of times on YouTube, but lately, I what I enjoy is her honesty. I think she is very honest in her performance. That is my impression. It may not be true, but that's how I perceive it. And I think I really, really like her. I will listen and watch her performances more now. I was really, really impressed of honesty and openness in her performance.
Yeah.
Really, really impressed.
Yeah. So, guys, now talk us through your Sunday highlights, because that was a lot happening there. Yeah.
I think my first highlight, and probably my highlight of the whole weekend, weird as it may sound, was I got to do something for a friend of mine. Like I was this summer before I went to the US Fest. I spent a week at my friend Joel's house in Montana, and we were talking, and I told him, yeah, I'm going to the UK Fest as well, and Dan Ashbrook's gonna be there. And he's like, could you get some signed for me? And he brings out this picture of the Briggs family, and it's signed by both Charlotte Stewart and Don Davis. And the story he told me was that Don Davis, during the last convention he and Charlotte Stewart did together, signed like 250, 300 of those pictures and gave them to Charlotte Stewart and said, just hand them out or sell them at the festival. And the year before I first went to, or the year before I went to the festival, I only went once, was the last year she sold them, and he bought one of those. And he's like, could you get that signed by Dan Ashbrook and make it complete? So I got to do that, and Dan Ashbrook, he just lit up when he saw the pictures. Hey, that's real cool. That's really something. And he told me that they did that as like a joke. They did that as the actors did that to use it for their family Christmas card, because apparently that year none of them had a family. So that they took that privately, more or less, and actually used that as their family Christmas card. So I got a really cool story, and I got to do something special for a friend of mine. So that was my highlight.
No, it's a great highlight. I got goosebumps. I remember you showed me the picture.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, I remember you showing me. It was a really cool picture, actually. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
So that's a good highlight. Yeah, without a doubt. You've actually got all of them on there now. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I still got it here. I got to send it off at some point. I'm scared the post is going to lose it or something like that.
Oh yeah, because there's only one picture. That's the thing. It's so rare, Yeah.
No.
You must be. Yes, you have to have security marching it down the street.
I'll probably have to fly to Montana
have to go
again.
Hand it
bring it back to him.
That's the only way you'll be sure of safety. Yeah. Jelena, what about you? Sunday, how was that for you? What's that for you?
I kind of lost of track what was on the program first day and what was on the program second day, and I don't have one highlight. It's impossible. The Thor's movie, The House on the Pearl Lake #2, is great. It's from many reasons, but seeing a fan developing his skills was the great. I mean, I could see that he developed, he evolved, and I loved it, the movie. Then the Chad movie, I Am Chad, from the Washington State guys I use it for my mood enlightenment, that movie. I have it bookmarked. I used to have another video for that for years, and I deleted that one. This is now my new one. Whenever I'm in bad mood, which has not happened yet since the festival. And then the third thing is actually the double R performances. I think if that is program-wise, that is what will bring me to come to the fest next year. Or they were great. That was great. And the last thing is the picture that we took together in the Red Room.
Oh yes,
that was so cool.
That's becoming a tradition now since last year. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, but it was it took like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, but all about it is I will remember it forever. It was, and Emily was great to take it. It was wonderful experience. It was fun experience.
She didn't take it. She got the security guy.
Yeah.
She could
that shot with her in it, but she was taking hundreds before that, going around like this, different angles out of us when she wasn't in.
Yeah, but the guy got to get to the Red Room to tell us that it's time for us to leave, and she turns around and says, "Please take a picture," and runs away from him. I mean, that's priceless.
The security guys are cool. They were really cool.
They were really cool. Yeah.
Great. I was having loads of chats with them when I was going out there, Yeah. They were lovely.
Yeah, but that picture definitely was a highlight for me too, and all the pictures we took just before that up in the class.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't want to go. I want to stay there. I wanted to stay there. I think everybody felt the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we did the same thing last year. Once the program had wound down, we just started taking pictures everywhere. Posing for pictures and stuff like that. It's really cool.
That last shout round going around. He wanted to get as many memories as possible before he went. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
and I got a couple of more highlights as well.
Go for it. Yeah.
Quick shout out. I agree. Double R both days. They are amazing. I love their stuff, and I try to make sure to catch as many of the performances during the fest that I possibly can. I loved the question and answers stuff. I love that John Pircello chimed in via Skype. I was just blown away when great. Rebecca Del Rio, in the middle of answering a question, started to sing, and she sounds like you could just put it on the record. That is talent. You need to
just broke straight into it. No work, no strain whatsoever. Just bam.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I met a German fan who also lives in Berlin, and I talked her into getting her very first Twin Peaks tattoo, we got the same one, that was pretty cool. Gonna meet up with her in a couple of weeks. And lastly, of course, the VR. Gideon did such a great job.
Yes,
that was so amazing. Just seeing the sites. We've just been there, Jelena,
Yeah.
And that was great. But then there were all those familiar faces popping up, and the best thing was Blake as Bob behind you, walking up.
Yeah.
That actually made me laugh out loud.
It got me scared. I actually put my hands like this. It's worthless, but I did it.
When I realized that it was Blake, I just started laughing, because Blake is like the most unbothered person I know. He's like the sweetest guy.
I didn't turn. I was turning for all the time, like 360. But when I saw the hand, I was just no. I couldn't.
No. That was a really neat touch, because
it was
that one thing that the UK Fest doesn't have that the US Fest has is those, just to see just going to the location.
Yes, I like that it's different experience.
Yeah.
It makes them both interesting. I like it.
But I just love that she found a way to, to get that experience to the people who might not make it to the US.
Yeah, and I have to say, I was impressed. They had technical problems with the VR, and even besides those problems, everybody who wanted to do it did it. And I was really impressed with that commitment for them to allow us, and not allow us, but to enable for us to do it for everybody. That was really, really great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Lovely idea that was. I'm sure they'll bring that back again.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Depends if Gideon can get over and all that. It's all down to those sort of aspects, isn't it? So, but I would hope so. Because the train car came back. What's third time now? I think they've had the train car. So that's proved popular amongst people. Only difference this time was they were doing the VR in it rather than doing the performance piece that they did originally. You know about that, Laura. The acting out of Laura's death that used to be in there.
That was the only thing that I mean, as I said, I preferred the old venue. I thought it was nicer. The Roadhouse was a lot nicer. But I mean, that's water under the bridge. The one thing that I kind of missed was the reenactment of Laura's murder. I mean, last year I went because I want to get like the full experience, and I thought it sounds tacky, it sounds weird. Once I was in that bloody train car and I had Laura almost lying on my foot, it was the weirdest thing because you know it's make believe, it's not real, nobody's getting killed, whatever. But I stood there and I was like, I got to do something. I can't let that happen. It was the weirdest thing. But Rose said last year that it's really hard on the actors doing it over and over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's incredibly intense, intense scene. So I can imagine must wear them out. And they were doing half a dozen performances a day, I think, or something, or maybe. Yeah. No, both days they were doing it. So it's an awful lot. And they lasted 15 minutes a piece or 20 minutes. That's pretty full on. That's a lot.
Yeah. And it's not just walking through your scenes, it's like heavy stuff.
Oh God,
screaming, yelling, and crying, and
screaming, cowering, being dragged. Physical stuff going on. Getting into that mindset for a start is traumatic anyway.
Absolutely.
And I think they did a bloody good job of it. It was amazing. I thought.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it really did. The fact that it was because it was a live performance. A foot from you. It couldn't be any closer. You really felt that you were in that situation with them.
Absolutely.
Really.
I wouldn't like that.
It's like an outsider looking in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have to admit to you something. I am. I don't know if you realize this, but the Golden Shovel's story from the season 3 is my leading star at the moment, both in my life and at work and everywhere. And the last day, on Sunday, I see a girl carrying a golden shovel, and I'm like, where did you find it? And she told me that there was 7 golden shovels hidden in the venue for us to find, and I had no idea. I was like, come on.
I never found
I didn't know.
I was trying to
say I actually found
Martin was there and in the hall in the lobby bit, the first bit you walk into. And I was thinking there was a plant there or something, or a curtain there or something. But and I'm chatting to him, and as I'm chatting to him, that very moment, he's found the golden shovel in front of me. I never spotted.
I am so. But was it a VIP thing?
It was behind the curtain or something, and he found it.
No, but was it only for VIPs to find, or
no, anyone?
I don't know, or I missed it. I don't know. I mean, I felt so stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous for everybody that has found it, because I want to have one on my wall.
Yeah. Well, the way they announce it is always a little bit dodgy, because last year I actually found one. I was walking, it was, you came up the stairs, and it was to the left, and there was a corridor, and they had the art exhibit in there. And I saw a shovel standing there, and I was like, oh, that's a nice touch. And only later I was told that we were supposed to take it and bring it back down because
Jesus, that would kill me.
by then somebody else had found it.
Yeah.
But I go next year ready. I actually will email and ask.
Jelena, crawling in all the corners looking.
Yeah. That would be my ultimate goal.
I'll be walking around with my eyes more wide open next time. And then we all had to go, and that's the hardest part of all, isn't it? God,
Yeah.
I didn't like that bit at all. Having to say goodbye, it's not pleasant.
No, it's not.
Um,
But it was easier this year than last year because I knew I would, you can come back and it's exactly the same as it was before. And it's like no time has passed. So it's a bit easier to say goodbye because, okay, I'm going to have this feeling again.
yes, yeah, I guess so. But I did struggle for quite a while.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually I think I was felt really bad on my way to the airport, and I'm so happy that Noah was with me. Although we didn't talk about it very much, but I really didn't feel good about leaving. But then I pulled out everything I've got in me, my experiences, life experiences, and how. And then I said, I told that to Martin, and then I repeated to me, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
That will energize me for years to come. And then within these years, I will get this experience again.
Yeah.
So there is no reason to be sad.
No.
And that is what got me through. So the next day I came home, I got to sleep because I didn't get much sleep while I was in UK. And then I got Monday night, I came back, I got some sleep. And then the next day I was really good. I didn't look back. I think we should take all positive. We're lucky to have this.
Absolutely.
It's all positive.
Absolutely.
And, absolutely. It's all positive. I just
it's all, and I don't want to waste my time, or better say energy being sad. It is sad. I miss everybody. I miss our times together and laughs and everything. But it's a good thing before all.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, the big difference compared to last year is the fest wasn't over when the fest was over. We got to celebrate Luca and Camina the next day.
Yes.
That was
yes.
If we talk about highlights, that was like my highlight of highlights.
Yes, it was. That was post-fest highlight.
Yeah.
It was
it is.
There was more
if you think about it, how special is that? Like in-person meeting, not online stuff like that. We met those guys the first time this year.
Yeah.
And they invite us to be part of their second wedding anniversary. How special is that?
Yes, I agree. I felt really honored. I mean, I think I bonded with Luca. We are very similar people, and we have a similar sense of humor. And I really feel like he is my brother.
Yeah.
But still, I felt really honored that he told me about this. And it's very big of them, of both of them.
Yes, it was.
Absolutely.
They're great people.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to say adios, as they say to you.
Yes, it's
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah, you got another group waiting.
Noah,
yeah. Thank you for this, Frank. This was very cool.
It was great having you both on the air, and I really appreciate you sharing all your memories of the fest and everything. So
yeah, thanks, Frank. Great. Pleasure like always.
See you, Noah. Have fun.
See you, Jelena.
See you, Frank. See you guys in the trees, I would imagine.
Yes.
At some point.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Not to see you first.
Yeah.
And I'm joined by two more friends, and they're with me now. So please, guys, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Kirsten. I'm from Denmark, and it's my first festival ever.
Oh, yes. And we'll get onto that in a minute, yeah.
And I'm Ben. I'm from the UK, and I've been going to the festival since 2015.
He's almost an old veteran like me. Yeah. Not quite, but you're catching up.
Catching up now.
You are. So, talking of which, let's go to Kirsten first, as it is your first UK festival, your first Twin Peaks festival of any kind, I think.
Yeah.
So, how was it for you?
It was weird because I felt at home from the very beginning. But the prefix at the Friday night, that really made me feel at home. And then when I met everyone at Saturday, it was just like, hi, friends.
Yeah, that's right. We must mention that we quite I don't know, about 20 or 30 of us, I think, maybe more, had the. Well, actually, this is what I'm going to do now. I never had a chance to really name checking through these recordings, but it's very important I mention his name because he was the guy that was instrumental in organising that Friday night, and he deserves to be thanked for it. And that was Mark O'Brien from Scotland. He was the one that had the idea of hiring that place, well, kind of hiring it, giving us a table for about 20 of us, and giving that area from like 4 p.m. to 11 at night, should people want to kind of come and go maybe, or get there late or early or whatever, in that pub in Camden. So, Mark, if you're listening to this, or hopefully you will be at some point, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, man, for organising that. Because and the softest thing was, although it actually wasn't his fault at all, he couldn't even make the night, which is even more sad in a sense. He's done all the work and he couldn't get there because he didn't arrive till like about 11 o'clock into London, or 12 o'clock.
He was trying his hardest, because he was unfortunately had to work till quite late on the Friday up in Glasgow, and then get a flight, train and bus to Camden. And he wanted to be there so badly, and kind of unofficially hosting and meet and greet duties fell to myself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You were the first person I saw when I walked in. Yeah,
that's right. I think I was the first there. But it ended up being such a special evening.
It was amazing, man.
And what's really touched me about the festival this year is exactly what this group that is chatting now epitomizes, is that Friday evening was a mix of the old guard, like myself and you, Frank, and a load of newbies too. And by the end of the night, the amount of people who said, they felt so welcomed. And then, like Kirsten said, along the Saturday, to have these people coming up and just having, chatting away to us as if we'd known them all this time. And that, to me, is what is so special about this festival, is that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is. We are, as cliched as it sounds, we are a family. And to see our little family growing so large now is really heartwarming.
Mark, thank you ever so much, man, for doing this. I think we all echo that.
Yeah, we love you, man.
Yeah, very.
Because what you did was actually quite miraculous. It inadvertently brought new people together on that Friday, which was a huge icebreaker and really helped a lot of people who were nervous for the first time, like yourself, Kirsten. I know you did tell me a lot beforehand that you were very nervous about it all. And Debbie that came along, and a few others as well. Luke's brother and sister was first timers, people like that. There was a few others there, I think, as well. That Martin and his partner as well. That were all new to this, and that Friday, Mark, thank you so much, man. Even though you couldn't get there, it's a shame you weren't, but you did a very good thing, and you broke the ice for all of us. More so the new people, because they were the most nervous. A lot of us have met before, so it was second nature for us, to not feel nervous. But thank you for doing that, man. So hats off to you. Yeah. So do that because of the opportunity earlier on. So I think he really deserved that. So let's get back quickly, Kirsten. Now, aside from the Friday, okay, that really helped you thing. Now you've kind of like. Your anxiety is much more eased, shall we say. You've met a lot of people. When you get to, when Saturday morning comes and the reality hits you that this is the first day of the fest now, the official part of it, how did you feel waking up that morning? You think, wow, now this is suddenly real now. How were you feeling? Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't really know. The feeling was just so. I really didn't get the feeling before. I just was in the middle of it. It just feel like suddenly said, "Bam!" and I'm here, and everybody's here, and all these people are here. The morning before, I don't really remember much actually, because Saturday was just, it was just there. It was just Twin Peaks all around, and and yes, him and Andreas and we went together. That was great too, because then except for the people I knew from Friday, I knew these two Danish people very well too.
I think it was always, for me, it's the excitement. It's the day is finally here, and that almost like childlike wonder of what is the day going to bring, what are the Double R Club going to bring, what are the cast going to be like. And for all those I didn't get to see on the Friday, this was my friendship group that I got to see again. And I remember getting up to the venue on the Saturday morning and seeing Lou and JJ and Paul there, and just thinking, God, I missed you guys. And it's so special because, like Kirsten says, you become a part of it, and like instantly as well, because even though I haven't seen these guys for like a year, soon as I was there, it was like no time had passed whatsoever.
That's the weird thing, isn't it, about it? It's like you're just picking up from 12 months prior, as if those 12 months didn't exist. Maybe like a week's gone by and you just missed someone for a little while, and then it's just become so natural. You're so comfortable with one another.
That's why I feel, that it isn't cliche to call it a family, because we've literally become that close over the years, and the newbies are experiencing that now this year, and that bond is special. And I've said it to many people at the festival as well, but as someone who is quite active on the convention scenes and within different fandoms, many fandoms can be quite cliquey or in different groups or subgroups, and some can be very judgmental. And with Twin Peaks, we all just have that same humanity and that same love and joy and passion, and we're a bunch of creative individuals, and it really is a place of love. And I think that is why even after all that time we can just get back into sync so quickly.
Yeah,
I think you're right. And it's like the community of Twin Peaks is we are like a kindred spirit. We all of us has something that we can relate to and think about and philosophy about in Twin Peaks, and it fills you up and takes other people in just as fast.
Yes, yeah.
Completely agree.
Yes, Lindsay was beautiful, wonderful. She was very busy, but still she had time to give me a hug, and she's a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Yeah. Lindsay is someone who I am so proud of and inspired of, and very privileged to be able to call a friend. And for me, I went as a VIP this year, and so we were led in through the Roadhouse, and to see all that set up, and to be greeted by the wonderful Lindsay, and the enthusiasm she has for the fans and the festival, it was just so infectious. And to get in there and see Lindsay, and then grab a couch with all our friends and just sat talking away over coffee and donuts ahead of the opening ceremony. It was so special. Yeah.
So I think we could do a little tribute to Lindsay as well, when we got the opportunity, because she's become a friend, over the years. And we've had lots of chit chats, and she's always been very supportive and stuff like that, and vice versa, and I'm very grateful to know her a lot,
and she works tirelessly all year round. Like, people don't realize how much of her own time, effort, and money goes into this festival, and already now she's working on next year. And hats off to her, because she's developed this festival from being this small little group into going into its 10th year next year, and now it's official and licensed by Twin Peaks Productions and CBS. She's achieved so much, and that's due to her hard work and dedication.
Yeah,
and she's fantastic too by just bringing us together, because in my normal day and my normal life, I don't meet anybody who's really a Twin Peaks fan.
Yeah.
So she makes it possible for a lot of people suddenly to be Twin Peaks together.
That's the thing.
Yes.
You see, in your ordinary life, this thing would not happen. As you said, Kirsten, you wouldn't be walking into a room with 100 Twin Peaks fans, over a weekend. It doesn't happen like that. So this really it's important.
Nowhere else could you see a plug socket dancing away to the music of Angelo Badalamenti, or a blue rose eating donuts, or it. But it's got to us. It's completely normal. It's our safe haven, and I'm so grateful, because I have dear friends for life because of this festival.
Okay, let's go through your highlights of Saturday, your personal highlights. Kirsten, what stood out for you?
It's difficult to say, because it all seemed like a bundle of things at the same time. But I think maybe it was the signing with the celebrities and Bobby Dana. I got totally starstruck, and I didn't expect that. It's just like, oh, that's special for me.
That was something you were really looking forward to seeing, though, wasn't it? I think I remember you telling me you were really looking forward to seeing Dana. Yeah.
Very, very much. And I said something very cheesy like, "You've always been my favorite. Do you know that?" And he was saying, "No, I didn't, but I'll take it." And I was just, oh, what did I just say? But anyway, that's one of the special things. But also the rooms in itself. It's wander around the house and the different rooms and the red room and people everywhere. And I don't know. It's just a bundle of many things at one time. Saturday, I think.
Yeah. How about you, Ben?
There's several that spring to mind. So, very early on, before the opening ceremony, I was asked to try out the VR, which was incredible. And obviously seeing Krista Bell and Rebecca sing was great. Krista especially brought tears to my eyes. But I would have to agree in terms of the cast. I mean, so it was so special. So, I'd always wanted to meet Kimmy, and, she was everything I'd hoped for and more. We had a joke about, her aspirations to get on Dancing with the Stars, and she was saying that she was saying she'd met the producer and said, maybe we should make Twin Peaks Dance with the Stars. And I said, well, we'd love to see you and Harry, strut your stuff on the dance floor. And, she just gives me the biggest hug, and she's like, oh, I can hear your heart beating. And that was just so sweet. But, and Krista Bell, I really didn't know what to expect from Krista, in conversation. And, she was just an absolute delight. We really spoke at length. And what was really special as well was we had a lovely conversation about, her memories of working with Miguel Ferreira, and that stands out as a highlight for me, to hear about what it was like to work with Miguel and also David, but, that clear special bond they had, and hearing those memories from their time together, that to me was, for the Saturday, one of the memories that really stuck out.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Those little moments are nice, aren't they? when you get in conversation with them a bit, because that's something that's sadly lacking in. Although you'd know more than I would, Ben, about like the convention circuit, because I'm apart from the festival, I'm really out of the loop with that. But when you've got those huge ones like Comic Cons and Collector Fairs, Collector Mania, and all that kind of thing, you don't generally get much time to talk to them. You know, if they're a big draw, you know, you queue up for hours, you get 10 seconds to you know, get shake their hand, get something signed, and off you go. You know, so it's very unique in that sense, where they take time to talk to you, they're interested in you, and there's no rush. You know,
for certain, so I mean, I can't generalize that to everybody, but you know, certainly a lot of the bigger names, that is becoming the case. And I always, I'm not the kind of person to get starstruck at meeting people, and I always think, you know, if you can make that connection, the conversation will be there. But with the Twin Peaks cast, I kind of think it transcends fame or this us and them concept. I genuinely feel like they feel they are part of this community and this family as well. And to see them so at ease and constantly hugging and wanting to know about our lives as well. You know, there's not many people in the industry that are that in tune with their fans and that in sync, and that they can feel so comfortable and at ease. And, you know, I think back to previous years, you know, Chris Mulkey coming drinking with us all, or, you know, Michael Horse walking around and just taking in everything. And I just think that's so cool that they feel comfortable enough with us that, you know, we're not going to go and harass them because, they are the stars of Twin Peaks, but they're also part of the group, you know. And and I've just got to say, I was just scrolling through my photos from the festival. Another Saturday highlight I have to give. So obviously I love, big shout out to my friend M. Brule, who is amazing.
Oh yes, great singer.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But the Double R Club surprised us with another new great singer this year, Keith. He was on the Saturday. He was great. With his Nadine Hurley singing act. Amazing.
Yeah. There you go. See, he keeps bringing up surprises like that, you know.
And that's what I love about the Double R Club. You know, Rose and Ben, you know, they keep finding such great talent, and the whole club working to keep their act fresh, and they're always a highlight for me. And special shout out to those guys too, because they put a lot of work into this festival as well. They
do indeed, and they've been a mainstay as much as Lindsay has, you know, since day one. They were there right from the first fest right through to now, you know, and that people do really, you know, the vibe went around, you know, about each year. I'm always talking to people about them, you know, people that are first time fest going and say, well, what sort of things do you do there? Well, you know, what's there to see there? And, you know, I give them a little idea, and I always bring up the Double R in the conversation.
Yeah, me too.
A real main fixture of the weekend.
Whenever they ask how is the Double R, what is it, and my answer is just always the same: you are in for a real surprise in the best possible way.
Yeah. I can say to them, strap yourself in and brace yourselves, because you don't know what you're going to have a good old ride. Then, you know, watching them. You know, I
mean, how did you find the Double R, Kirsten, as a newbie this year? I mean, that must have been an experience for you.
It was, and in the first time I saw it, I didn't know that it was such a big part. They were such a big part of the festival. I just figured them as one of the things that happened. But as the time went on, I can see, I mean, they're really part of this. It's not just an act. They are really part of this festival, and too. I was a bit surprised. You're right. They were very fun.
I've got to say, I think it was the Sunday. It was really cool. You know, I'm no artist in terms of drawing by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, having missed it for the last couple of years, to finally do the Mr. C's Tulpa art class, that was such a fun little thing. You know, me, Paul and Luke, you know, sat and did that together, and you know, it was fun. It was just really, really funny. And, you know, I'm so glad I got to experience that, because, you know, obviously there are little staples of the festivals that come back every year, and I was glad that I finally got that opportunity this year. Maybe I'll do Jitterbug next year. Who knows?
The other new thing, well, I think it may have been done before, but not to the extent that it was done this year, was, and I don't know if it was the same girl doing it, but in the Red Room set that was there was a woman there doing tattoos.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if she's the same girl. I don't think she is. But previously, they didn't do the proper real tattoo like they do now with the machine. So it's permanent. There was a girl that used to be there in previous fests that used to put a temporary tattoo, a temporary thing on you. That would be, and it was like a nail polish thing or something like that. And then she had tweezers and she put it on your fingernail. And it was the letters, like the R.
Yes, I remember this.
And everyone was walking around with these like a R on there and all that. But that was just like a temporary sticker type thing. But they were really popular as well. But now they've switched it to this now. Like a proper professional tattooist now. And one of my friends actually went and got a tattoo done.
Fantastic.
What, are you sure, man? Do you really want to go through with this? Because you've got to remember it's permanent. You'll never be able to get it off again. If you do, it's going to be a whole lot of pain. And he did it. He went there. He only had a couple. I was kept thinking, if you had too much to drink, you might think differently in the cold light of day. No, I'm going to get it done, man. So he went and got it done. Richard, this is one of the guests that was on our show earlier, went and got this little. But I mean, it's not obvious. It's quite a little small little. It's up here on the shoulder, so he can hide it. But it's the Al Cave symbol thing, the Al Cave thing on the ring. It's that symbol. So it's up on his shoulder now. So I just said, I wonder what the wife will think when you get back. She might have thought you'd been to Soho or something, on a late night. And you've walked into the red light district. And you've regretted it, but he's explained it to her, so she's cool. He said the Twin Peaks thing, you wouldn't understand.
Why it's on my mind as well. I just want to give a big shout out to Fluffy and JJ, who won the costume competition on Saturday. They so owned.
Yeah, they won it.
Fluffy's amazing blue rose, but also JJ as Tammy, and even Krista Bell loved that outfit, man. And
I remember talking to them.
Their reactions were priceless, and JJ, he embraced that role fully, man. He embraced the role fully.
When he was like he was standing dressed up like that in the autograph queue, and he had the heels on and all that in the autograph queue, and I said to him, Christ Almighty, man, have you had practice or something on the Tuesday night or something like that? Are you telling us something we don't know? Because you seem to be divine gravity on those high heels that most women would be envious of, He seemed to be very comfortable in those heels. I thought, what's going on, man? Like that. Pulling his leg, because I know him. But he's such fun, and I was really amazed. I was really pleased, that they both. When one got, when the runner-up was announced, that I was happy enough with that. When they said it, I think it was JJ first, the runner-up. I thought, wow, man, he's got a prize. He's been going to all these fests. They've been going as nearly as long as I have. And they've finally been recognised for the ingenuity of their costumes, because they always do something really clever every year, And finally, it paid off. I was so chuffed for him like that. And the next minute, if that wasn't good enough, then his partner gets the winning prize. Fluffy,
They both deserved it.
And I thought, that's just fucking incredible, man. I was so happy for them both. I think I shed a few tears in the audience, because I thought, finally, they've done it. They've finally been recognised, and it just felt really,
very
really
special
heartwarming to me. So, yeah, if I was to pick a little moment, like a little random moment, that would be mine as well. The moment when they got a double win, that really, I was really happy.
Touching end to the evening, yeah.
Choked. So let's go into Sunday, because Sunday was a different kind of atmosphere in a sense. We've all got to know one another now. Some of us would have hung out on Saturday night as well. or what, you know, in the breaks and things. So the bond has been really established by now, I think. And what was Sunday like for both of you? Yeah, that's what I'm asking, really.
Sunday, I have to start by embarrassing both myself and you, Frank, here with the Tibetan rock throwing. You know, admittedly, you and I may need a bit more practice for next year, but my God, was that fun.
That was a laugh. That was a real laugh. As I said earlier, I only did two. I only went round, managed to go around twice. Some people think that maybe might have got more than that, but I went round twice.
And you know, we should actually touch on this. I don't know if you have in the previous episode, but it was actually really cool as well that, you know, Lindsay and the team went to the effort of actually setting up this recreation of Glastonbury Grove in the local park next to the venue, along with train cart as well. I was like, wow, it looked great. It helped set the atmosphere.
It did.
It really did.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I admired a lot too, and was drawn to with these trees and the hole with the burnt.
It was great that they had that. It was great that they had that park area. That added bonus of having another area where they had a bit more room to do those things. You know, because and it gave it an atmosphere as well, being outside and with the trees and the leaves down and all that. You know,
I think if I had to pick my one memory of Sunday, though, undoubtedly, it would have to be DJ Yoda's set followed by the David Lynch disco. I mean, DJ Yoda is so cool anyway, but his mixtape of Twin Peaks this year was phenomenal. And to see all the Peakies up dancing, and you know, I had a really great dance with Lou and Debbie and Thomas, and it was such a special evening that night, and it was a really beautiful moment, you know, both in terms of dancing, partying, and you know, slow dancing, and just the love in that room was incredible. That the energy was palpable, and then, you know, finishing it off with our annual group photo, you know, thanks to Emily. Nothing can that is what the festival was about for me. That is what it was about.
That's what I mean. It's it's those moments with people. It's as I said before, it's the moments with the people that make it.
And I remember being stood with you at the bar, Frank, at one point during that disco. You know, I'd stopped for a breather, and I remember just saying to you, look at how much our family has grown, and just watching everybody, you know, old and new, mixing together. And I just felt so proud.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite that was a moment in itself, just suddenly sort of taking a step back for a second, because there's so much going on and you're kind of like swept up in it all. You don't really get much time to kind of sit for a moment, look for a moment and observe it and think, wow, you know, look where we are now, you know.
That evening was honestly one of the greatest of my life, and then obviously we had an unofficial after party as well. But yeah, that disco, and you know,
I missed that. When was that?
It was quite late on the Sunday. It was after the ritual of Twingo. It was just after that. I think it was during the Fire Walk With Me screening as well.
It was. I think all that sort of stuff was happening then. That's right. Yeah. But
it was just so special, you know, rocking back inside my heart, Questions in a World of Blue, and The Nightingale, some of my favourite Julie Cruz tracks, and to be able to dance with the people who mean the most to me in this family, and it was just it was perfect. It was a really lovely end to a great festival.
Yeah. And roll on next year, and already I can't wait.
Indeed. But Kirsten, your Sunday.
Oh yeah, my Sunday. I know you covered it, Frank, with the others, but still the Q&A. I never been to a Q&A before, and it's like all the charisma from the celebrities is rolling down, and the responses, they were fast, and they were funny, and Kimmy was really funny, and John chat on Skype blew me away.
Yes.
Who can forget Mr. Piricillo beaming live from the satellites? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a moment as well. That was really good of him to do that as well. That was really nice. So his presence he was there, but not quite. Obviously it was as good as second next best thing to being physically in the room.
Yeah.
So it was nice. He got to do that.
Indeed.
So that was a nice touch. That was, yeah. And then
they always bring so much fresh stuff to the Q&A as well. I was talking with Jake the other night, and he was saying like, "Oh, I was so worried. Was I repeating myself from last year and blah blah blah?" And I was just like, "No." I said everything was fresh. You covered what you had to from last time, and there were so many great stories, and Rebecca Del Rio was a hoot, and obviously Kimmy is just Kimmy is Kimmy, and she's incredible.
Kimmy, yes.
And and Krista, Dana, all of them. It was so insightful, and to say that went on for well over an hour, it flew by as well, because they've just got so many fascinating stories and thoughts and ideas to share. And I agree, Kirsten. It was a really well moderated Q&A, and largely down to Tom Huddleston as well. He does a great job with that.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, guys, we are pretty much Twin Peaks out for this moment. Well, this moment in time, anyway.
You can never be Twin Peaks out.
Never. No. How dare I say it?
What I've got to say is, anyone listening to this who has never been and is thinking, should I come? Don't even second guess yourself. If you feel inclined to come and join us, do it. If you love Twin Peaks, if you feel drawn to this community, honestly, we welcome you with open arms, and roll on next year.
Yeah, looking forward to how they build on it and what they do next, what new surprises are in store. Because it's their 10th anniversary, I'm sure they're going to pull something special out of the hat for that.
I can't wait to see what Lindsay does.
Yeah.
I wish I could come. I don't know yet. Probably not, but I'll try.
Yeah, definitely try. That's all you can do, So you've got some time to prepare for it, and put some money away if you can and stuff. So I think most people start saving pretty much from when the fest finishes.
Yeah.
So
I have
to for it, Yeah. So it'd be lovely if you could all come again. I know Ben will be there, definitely.
I will be there.
Yeah. So with that, guys, thank you so much, Kirsten and Ben, for joining me. It's been a blast to talk about this.
Thank you for having us, Frank.
It's been great fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. So until then, guys, we'll see you in the trees.
Bye.
Bye.